Good day, brothers and sisters, my fellow citizens of the Republic of Zambia. So today I would like to give a brief analysis of what I've noticed as a trend in Zambia, where we have, by the way, my name is Proculious Mwape, President of the Light of Zambia movement. Sorry, I forgot to say that. I know that I'm not very well known in Zambia, therefore it is important that every time I start a video, I have to start by introducing myself. Alright, so like I've indicated already, I would like us to look at the trend of high-profile deaths that we've been having in Zambia. I don't know whether most of you have noticed, but on my part, at least I've noticed that most of these big figures, political figures, have died outside our country, Zambia. They've died in South Africa. For example, recently we had the death of Mama Nawakwi, Edith Nawakwi. She passed on in South Africa. She was just repatriated into our country and got buried here. And again, we have our late president, the 60th Republican president, Dr. Edgar Lungu, who has passed on again in South Africa, and we are still observing this fracas and see how it is going to end. His body is still held up in South Africa. So I think there is one thing that we can learn from here, and I saw this being asked as a question to one of the PF members in South Africa, that why is it that your president had to come here to South Africa to seek specialized medical attention? That question is very important, and the answer to that question should be an eye-opener to all of us as Zambians. Alright, so of course we have to understand that the economy of South Africa is way better developed than ours. Now let us look at the fundamentals. How did it become better developed than our economy? So the history goes like this. Remember, our colonization came about with the coming in of British South Africa Company. This British South Africa Company, like the name entails, South Africa, is a company that came from South Africa under the leadership of John Cecil Rhodes. This man came here and signed mineral rights concession with our traditional leaders and started mining copper here in Zambia. And you know what happened to the proceeds that he was getting from that copper? Of course, he built up his empire in South Africa. He established South Africa. In short, we had big mining giants that operated the economy of South Africa, and of course based on the profits appropriated from countries like Zambia, Northern Rhodesia. So you see, the money that came from our mines is the money that has worked to build up South Africa. You see that? So the clear picture that we are learning from here is that our minerals, our copper, largely contributed to the economy and the health sector and everything that South Africa has today. The point I'm making is that our leaders know that our health sector is broken. They fully understand that our health sector cannot attend to their medical needs. So what do? They go out to seek medical attention elsewhere, where they know those countries' medical facilities are up to date. Do you see? So what that teaches us is the fact that if we do not wake up, if we do not stand up and claim back these mines and mineral rights, of course mineral rights are in our hands, but the mines aren't in our hands. If we were to claim back these mines and be able to receive the proceeds from the minerals that would be selling from these mines, then we'll be able to build our economy, we'll be able to build our health system, and the infrastructure would be top-notch. You see that? Now, as long as we leave it in the hands of foreigners, as is the case now, where a majority of the mining companies aren't ours, they are not our mining companies. They are foreign-owned companies, multinational corporations. That implies to say Zambia will continue lagging behind in terms of development. Remember, I have stated in many of my videos and articles that taxes and royalties. Those are the only things that we are getting from these mines predominantly, because we cannot talk about dividends when ZCCMIH is only holding about 21% of the shares. So that is basically insignificant. So taxes and royalties are not enough to develop a nation. We can't build a nation based on taxes and royalties. That's why we are saying, in the light of Zambia movement, if it happens that the Zambian people like the message that I'm putting forward and my colleagues, that they vote us into office and deploy the system of governance we are calling Ubuntu model of governance, where traditional leaders will become part of the inner core of leadership in our country, then we are going to nationalize these natural resources and run our mines, sell our produce, process the produce, of course, within our country to add value, then sell them at a value added level so that we rake in more foreign exchange. Now, many people would say, why can't we just nationalize even under democracy? I say democracy is not efficient to run parastatals. Democracy cannot even afford to run state-owned enterprises. That's why we see in most cases where democracy is used to run state-owned enterprises. We have a lot of examples, just look around. I don't want to mention names here. We have a lot of examples where we've seen top-notch inefficiency. You see that, eh? These companies that are run by the state today as we speak are not performing well. And that exactly is what is going to happen if the state today, under this democracy, nationalized our minerals. Those mines would become death traps for our people, because there is so much inefficiency in a democracy like this one. People don't care. People are not patriotic. So if truly we want to build our own economy, if truly we want to make sure that we get the best from our minerals, let us start by revisiting the model of governance that we are using. It is the one that has made it impossible for us to take off developmentally. It is the major culprit in our poverty. So, brothers and sisters, especially the young people, remember the future is in our hands. If we do not do something today, if we do not do something about this whole mess that we are in today, surely the future is dangerous. The future is extremely dangerous. That is not to say, one thing that you have to bear in mind is when we say we want to nationalize natural resources, we don't mean we are going to chase our way off foreigners. No, that is not what we are talking about. The only thing we are talking about here is we should be the major shareholders in all mining companies in Zambia, so that we'll be able to control and monitor the operations of these mines, so that they cannot cheat on us on the proceeds that are coming from these mines. Do you see? Because it is one thing to tax somebody, but it's another thing to evaluate the actual income that came, or should I say that mine made. Do you see? If you are going to calculate tax on profits, then those profits must be calculated in such a way that you also, as a shareholder, you understand exactly the cost aspect of producing the profit. So if you do not really understand, then this operating company can come up with any figure to say this is what we generated, or maybe we even generated a loss, therefore we can't give you any dividend, we can't even give you any profit, taxes on profit. Do you see that? So our country needs to refashion the system of governance. That is the most important, first and foremost thing for us to do. Then after that, we have to nationalize our natural resources. After we nationalize our natural resources, this so-called CDF, the one that is being hyped about, no, we have CDF, it has done wonders. That is only 30 million kwacha, for goodness sake. Only 30 million kwacha. Do you know what that is as a proportion to the budget, or as a ratio to the national budget? It is a very small ratio. You see? Because calculate 3 million times 156 constituencies that we have today is something about 5 million. Something about 5 billion. You see? Something under 5 billion. That's what you get. So if the national budget is over 150 billion, then you are out of that 150 billion, it's only 5 billion that is being given to constituencies, and people are busy clapping that this is the best way to go. What I can promise you, under Ubuntu model governance, when Ubuntu model governance is instituted in our country, Zambia, and we have nationalized our natural resources, this CDF, of course, it will become Chiefdom Development Fund, because remember, what we promise in the light of Zambia is that chiefdoms are going to become local governments. So instead of having local councils, instead of having constituencies, instead of having districts, we are only going to have chiefdoms. So Chiefdom Development Fund will be cranked up to a tune of about hundreds of millions per chiefdom. Yes, that is possible. We have a lot of money in our country. We have a lot of wealth. The only reason why we seem to be struggling like this is all because of a flawed system of governance that we are using. So brothers and sisters, especially the young ones, let us make sure that we build health system, a very strong health system in our country. We build more hospitals, give them equipment, give them the necessary drugs that they need, and going into the future, this issue of taking somebody, be it a special politician or anyone outside our country to seek medical attention, that should become a thing of the past, because then we'll have made our economy be able to respond to such needs from within our own country. So brothers and sisters, time is now. We have to work together in order for this to be achieved. If we don't work together, then we have to forget it. Let there be light.